Okay, I'm in a hotel room in Colombia, and I'm going to talk today about noisy hotel rooms. I would love to design and be involved in the architectural engineering design of a hotel because, well, I got a lot of experience. But noisy hotel rooms is probably the number one problem with hotels. And I'm in a really great hotel, and I'm going to try to explain some of the principles. See, there's different features or benefits of a hotel that make it good and make it bad. Okay, but I was laughing. One of the great things about this hotel is they started at about 4:42 this morning. I started hearing the big coffee cooker perking, right? And I was laughing because I don't know how many hotels I'm in, which are supposed to be great hotels, full of tourists, right? And tourists often have to leave at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. They're like business travelers. Sometimes they have to get up and catch a train or whatever, right? And what's interesting is these guys actually have their coffee on early enough that people can have coffee before they go do what they do. A hotel that starts up at 9 o'clock in the morning, they have their restaurant open at 9. They don't have any of the free coffee or something till 9. They just don't understand how they don't really have any empathy. This hotel I'm in has empathy for people, right? It's really amazing. But there's this thing by Frank Lloyd Wright, not Frank Lloyd Wright, Louise Sullivan, which was a mentor to Frank Lloyd Wright. He said that form follows function, and that means that the form is how things look, and then the function is does it work? Does it do what the goal is? Okay, and often I'm in very beautiful hotels that don't function. Things just don't work. Look at that plug. I'll explain some simple things. See that electrical plug right there? It's really wide and easy to hit, and it's exactly the same height as that one. Sometimes in a hotel, and the plug of the electrical switch will be up high, low, in a non-conforming way. Okay, so everything in this hotel was built in a conforming way, but I'm going to talk about some of the great features that you don't really think about. The biggest one is noise, right? So right over here is the bathroom. But first, let's talk about neighbors. When you have neighbors, whether it's in a hotel room or in your neighborhood or anywhere, people almost always can come up with a long list of reasons why they're angry at their neighbors. And this is a great hotel. Obviously, I've been living in it, so it's kind of I moved this out from the wall so I can put the computer right there and lay in bed and watch it. But the point is that most of you actually have very little patience with your neighbors. If somebody calls you on the phone and you don't want to talk to them, you're angry, you get a text message, you get angry when you pick up the phone, you say you're busy. Intolerance has become the norm, okay? And everybody almost brags about the things that they have problems with, okay? But I have nobody to listen to my complaints, but I'm in a never-ending situation where there's always something little that's annoying, okay? But the biggest one that I don't really want to hear is sex in the other room, right? I'll never forget, I learned one word in Spanish in Arequipa, Peru. Okay, Arequipa, Peru is, it's kind of, they even got their own passport, but it's in Peru, and it's inland quite a ways. But it's a really nice little place, okay? And I was living in this hotel, and the sex noise was everywhere. Every single room was noise. And the guy goes, I had paid for a month, and then I realized that the noise was driving me crazy, and I asked for a refund. He said, he kind of understood. He says, the booyah. Booyah is the word for noise. Almost every word that I ever learned in Spanish or French is related with an experience. Best way to learn a word. But bulla is just kind of the constant noise, right? And these guys were having sex so much. I really have a little bit of admiration for the Peruvian people because, man, I was telling you, there's like 8 rooms with noise. I was like trying to make a video. Well, this is before YouTube, but I was trying to somehow record the sound, and I said, this is ridiculous. But nonetheless, all these little annoyances make me dream about making a hotel or having a hotel and building a hotel. Really, I don't know if I could just modify a hotel, but you can modify about 50%, or a tiny home. But I learned the word bulla in that hotel. My travels have installed in me an admiration for the Peruvian men and women. The only hotel anymore in the United States that anybody will probably be able to afford. See, what's going to be interesting is only in the 200 normal countries are you really going to be able to afford to travel. Okay, the space, the expense between the 200 normal countries and the 25 overdeveloped countries, the span is getting so big. I mean, like right now in the United States, to get a room less than $50 a night is becoming very difficult. Used to be, 20 years ago, they'd have $22.95, room, and you could go along the interstate and you get these rooms. Almost the worst of the worst hotels is getting $50 a night. And here I am in an $11 hotel that's better than that, $11.50 hotel in the country of Colombia. So a lot of ways, the only economical place for people to travel anymore is going to be outside the 25 overdeveloped countries. And the people inside the overdeveloped countries, the 25 highly developed, overdeveloped, whatever you want to call it, are not going to be able to move. They have to work to the day they die because they can't even afford to retire. But let's talk about some of my experience. One of the things I was laughing at is I sold real estate for I think about 15 years. And in the time, I sold probably roughly 1,000 houses. But to sell one house, you usually show about 10 to 15 houses. And then they narrow it down. I like to work with buyers. I don't like to work with sellers. Buyers your time is uncontrollable, but buyers, you can work at, you can set up an appointment, show them on a schedule. Selling, if somebody calls, you got to go. Okay, so I don't really like listing houses. But that means I looked at about 15,000 houses. Can you imagine looking at 15,000 houses? I've been traveling for 26 years, and I've been to 114 countries. If I went to 10 cities, I would stay in 10 hotels. That would mean I would go to like 1,140 hotels. If I only did, I'm not really sure, plus maybe another 100 for the United States. I've been to probably 100 hotels in the United States. I used to have a job working for Frito-Lay where they flew me all over. I was in a different city like 3 different cities in a week. And he's in and out doing jobs, boom, boom, boom. I was a business traveler. I did this for almost 6 months, every day of the week. But if I was only in five rooms per country, I would be still in 570 different hotels, or maybe an additional 100, so 670 hotels. So let's see, I've went in about 15,000 houses. I've been in about, I don't know, say a minimum of 800 hotels. And I can tell you what I've learned. I've learned how to be annoyed very quickly. And this is the funny part. Which is, it's not the thing. To design something, you have to really I cannot say this word, ergomatically, you got to be able to make something that is ergomatically, I'm not saying that right. Okay, dyslexia. Okay, but you need to have a room that's made for people, right? And often people have no idea why they're annoyed. What happens by going into 800 hotels, the annoyance has been so many times that I each one of them is like a ping in my head, right? I remember being in this 5-star hotel casino. I missed they canceled a plane in Dominican Republic, and they put us, they actually drove us to the Santiago, the capital, whatever. And they put us up in this 5-star hotel for the night. And within 10 minutes, there was 15 things wrong with this hotel. The funniest one is they had a coffee machine with no plug behind it and no water to put in it. They gave me the coffee. They gave me one little pint of water. I mean, you're talking a really small bottle, maybe a half pint. I don't know what it was. But the point is it wasn't even enough water to go through the night. And Dominican Republic, the government owns it. Governments don't develop the water because if they cleaned up the water, they wouldn't be making money, right? So I'm in the country of Colombia where I can drink water from the tap. But let's talk about some aspects of a tiny room or a tiny hotel room or any kind of hotel that makes people happy and unhappy. Okay, let's see if I can back up here. What happens is, this is the bathroom. Okay, it's that wall. If I close that door, on that wall, if I close this door, there's a closet over here. If I close this door, I have really 2 walls between me and the neighbor. And that's a lot of soundproofing, okay? That's a really good thing. So if, for example, the next room over had, on that wall, there was the bathroom right behind that wall, I would have 2 walls to go through. In this room, I could make about as much noise as I wanted inside this room without causing problems. Now, they didn't do it. I went over and checked, and there's a wall on the other side. Okay, normally what's absolutely interesting is they'll put the bed up against this wall, and then they'll put the other bed on the other side. So, like, this room will be having sex, and that room will be having sex, and there'll be a lot of booyah, right? It's really crazy. And then they often will put the television, they put the bed on this wall and put the television over there. And so the television is right on the wall to the other room, okay? They've got it right here next to the window. So there's a window here with 2 louvered windows. And there's not much airflow, but I'm often telling people, try to think about living in your room and don't try to, how do I say this? Your room is for sleeping. It's not for entertainment. It should be quiet, should be comfortable. The temperature should be always the same. One of the big problems in the 5-star hotels is they often have this air conditioning or heating or whatever that turns on and off as you go into the room. So you come back into the room, it's either too hot or too cold. And I've never been in a hotel that actually just said, we keep it at a constant 72 degrees because we want you to be happy. But if you want to move it up a little or when you walk back into the room, it's going to be constantly at that temperature, because sometimes you turn on the air conditioning and it takes forever to cool off the furniture. But this room is quite spectacular in the sense that it's got a lot of nice features. Just the ability to hit this plug easily. Now, the funny part is they have the toilet papers over here. Then you can see that they had another paper over there. That's the worst possible place to put a toilet paper. Most people can't even turn around and reach for it, right? And it's hard to fill up. But this has got a big mirror. It's got a lot of light here. It's got a place to hang my towel. It's got a place to thing. It's absolutely immaculately clean. What's hilarious, though, is a lot of you don't like what they call a suicide shower. This has a tank. And the water that comes out of here is a direct stream, which I kind of like, but most people might do it. I was getting a massage with this thing. But I timed it. I had to wait 5 minutes before the water came from the tank to the faucet. So I was waiting for this water. She told me the left one is not labeled, right? So often I write with a magic marker above it, hot or cold, or I even write it in Spanish. But this, I had to wait 5 minutes. The record I ever had was in Tasco, Mexico. I literally waited almost 35 minutes for the hot water to go all the way up to the top floor. And of course, by the time you threw with the shower, it filled up all the pipes in the hotel with hot water because it had to rise up 3 floors. And you feel bad because you know that now all the water is out of the tank and it's getting cold really fast. But I had to literally turn on the water, let it run for 35 minutes. That was the record of all time. I don't like tanks of water. I like these, what people call the suicide shower, which is, I've never heard of anybody getting killed. Shocked, yes. But what's really great about Colombia, they have this really good hot water shower head, and it doesn't have any adjustments. You can't screw it up because nobody can play with the adjustments, and it's really hot. And I've used like 3 of them in the country. So, but you can see right now, why is this out from the wall? I want to watch the computer and I need it over here. There's absolutely, even in a 5-star hotel, there's almost no adaptation for the fact that we often have computers. Business travelers often have computers. Okay, so you got the closets, okay? What's interesting is they often, what they do is the extra person, you have a price for one. A lot of countries have a price for one person, a price for 2 people. It's not the same. I think in the United States, for the most part, if you rent a room, whether 1 or 2, it's the same price. But what's interesting here is they only set up rooms for 1 person, but they charge for 2. You know, if you have 2, you get to pay more. Like a really good room, like this room has a mirror there. So if you have 2 people in there, there should be a mirror on that wall, right? There should be a little table here. It's a very small room, but it's very, very efficient. What I like about it is it's very quiet, and it's ridiculously clean. Okay, but the number one feature that always is annoying on noise is almost standard anymore. They have to give you a television. I don't think I've been in a room without a television in years. Okay, it's amazing. And I don't ever use it because I watch my movies on my computer. But this is one of the biggest noise makers you could ever put in a room, and they put them on a wall. What I was thinking about, and I made a video the other day talking about it, if they, when you lay down in bed, you're looking at this computer. Of course, this is right close to this wall making noise, right? They could literally put it on the roof in almost every room, and it would be in an ideal position because there is no chair in this room. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you had a couch or a chair or something, you might want it on the wall. But most of these rooms with like 1 bed, they might as well put it on the ceiling because they're always giving you the remote. I always turn it down, but they always try to give me the remote, or they have it in the room. They give you a remote for the air conditioning. They give you a remote for the TV, but ergonomically, to design something that works for people. Laying in bed and looking up is a lot easier than looking at an angle, okay? Always talk about Jack Nicholson in the movie Bucket List when he's got these glasses that do it. I even bought some of those things. They don't work that well. They're horrible. But what's normal is you have a window towards a courtyard. Well, this is the noisiest part of the room. Okay, the hotel courtyard or area is the noisy part of the hotel. The part of the hotel that's not noisy is the exterior wall, okay? And on the other side is what you really want is have cross-flow ventilation. So you want a window over here and a window over there, and you want a fan in it. And if anybody ever started controlling the breathing of my air, I would be in heaven. I was in a hospital with my mother, and they were trying to control the germs that entered the room, but they didn't control the air. And I said, it don't matter what you do outside the room. The air is coming in from outside the room, so she's getting polluted with everybody in the hospital. It was absolutely insane. Some of the hospitals. they don't have air control of the air, so that, see, in a way, the air should come in from a tube from outside and then pump it into the room and go out the wall in a hotel, not a hotel, in a hospital. In a hospital room, the sharing of air, like in most hotels, people want their room cleaned. Well, what you do when you have your room cleaned is hilarious. The guy or girl or guy, whoever's cleaning the room, takes in a bucket of thing, they mop the floor, and they go from one room to the next room using the exact same water, and all they done is spread every single germ from one room to the next. Absolutely common, okay? Don't matter how clean it looks, you're sharing the germs from one room to the next. But in a way, though, when I would really talk about quiet, you could take every wall, and I could make a room where, like, say, on the outside wall could be a cooking area right here, right? And that would set up a buffer space. They could have, even on this wall, they can have shelves with books and stuff in them, or any kind of pictures and things. Pictures, drawings, blankets hanging on the wall, tapestry, all these things absorb noise. Noise is the number one thing that hotels just don't seem to care. I'm not sure what their deal is. They don't seem to care. It doesn't matter whether there's a 5-star. I always make the joke, the worst thing you can do is be in a hotel when a tour bus shows up with about 50 people on it. That's the last thing you want to do, is have 50 people that know each other in a hotel. It's like living in a party. Okay. But you could put, one wall for cooking. And so when you design something, you want to put everything on the walls to absorb the noise. And I've often said that, what I would really like is at the top of the room, I would like to have long-term hotels, and I'd put shelves all the way around the top so that people could store their things they don't use that often. Like, I have a backpack. It says Cornice. It's a really nice room. But you should live outside the room. Okay, you don't live in the room. This idea that you have to have this, most people are paying about 80% of their money for something they don't use. They go on a trip, they go on a vacation, they spend 6 hours walking around all day. They come back to the room after dark and then they go to sleep. You're paying for a lot of benefits and a lot of services that you don't use, especially like when they got a lot of people. Very few people, about 1 in 10 will actually go to the beach and lay in the sun. Really 1 in 20. Nobody gets tan anymore, so a swimming pool and a beach is often a waste of money for people. Golf courses, I don't know. Light switches. Well, these are some of the features that I would like to talk about in a hotel room. And I know that I can walk into any hotel, and I can guarantee after going into 15,000 houses and about 800 hotels at minimum, there's one thing I know I can do. I can walk in and be annoyed by a few things. I'm not saying in a bad way. I'm just saying there's always improvement to be made. And this is why I've often said I'll trade, give me a free room and I'll go through each room in your hotel, especially the bed and breakfast or the boutique hotels, because these rooms are not standard. The Sheraton, Hilton, the reason why the value of the Sheraton, Hilton, and all these is the quality is the same because of economy of scale. In a way, you had everything the same, and it's really a high quality hotel. Bed and breakfasts, Airbnbs, and boutique hotels, these are where you get the worst deal for the money because they very seldom actually even live in a room. I mean, the best thing a hotel owner could do is actually live in every single room for about 2 or 3 weeks until he or she discovers all the negative things. And that's what I keep volunteering to do, is live in people's hotel and tell them what the small things that they can fix. And I would definitely start out with the things that are cheap, right? I mean, there's so many of the improvements that don't cost any money. It's just a little bit of alteration. When I walk into a room, I'm only staying in this room for 2 days. I'm near the city of Medellin. I'm going to go to the airport. It's an $11.50 room. And I know I like to annoy you guys by showing you all my clutter and the things on the floor and me living in things, right? Why do I like to do that? Because most of you only watch videos where everything's perfect, and it makes it so that all you've learned is to be sort of a pig in a poke. Nobody ever shows you reality of life. This is reality. This is I don't spend all my time putting away my clothes when I'm only going to be here for 2 days. Right? I don't organize it. I don't. Of course, I count the number of stars by the number of hangers. There's absolutely no hangers in that closet. So I'd have to fold them all up, put them on there. Then, yeah, it's just a lot of work, right? Can't be bothered. Okay, but I'm always volunteering to stay in a hotel for 30 days and go through and live in each hotel room for about 3 or 4 days and even do a lot of repairs on the hotel. I bought some tools when I was in Guatemala so that I can do this because I found that a lot of owners don't want to be told what's wrong with their hotel. They want somebody just to go fix it. And most everything in a hotel room I can fix. Being that I used to have a general contractor's license and managed up to, I probably rehabbed at least, 15, 20 houses. According to how you call rehab. But I bought 2 or 3 houses that were 2 eightplexes that were completely frozen, and I recuperated them and made them into a functional buildings and rented them out, made them thrive. But life is good. But these are just some ideas, and the more you travel, the more you see the problems with the world. On the other side, if you really want to thrive and be alive, you just got to accept that nothing is perfect. And when people go traveling and they start complaining about all the things they do, and I go, please stay home. Okay, if all you're going to do is act like you're living in a different country, oh yeah, they speak in a different language. They take care of things differently. They have a different culture. They may even have a different religion, and you want it to be like home. If you want it to be like home, best to go home. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm here and you're not. Why not? I'm having fun today. That was all rolled up into a long bundle roll and put on the bottom of my backpack. And I just that yellow thing is a poncho. So I'm going to put everything in my backpack. That little top thing is kind of a thing in Colombia, and I'm taking it home for a souvenir for my sisters or something like that. Life is good.